May 5, 1945. Dawn comes slowly to the Tyrolean Alps, struggling to penetrate the thick mountain fog that clings to the stone walls of Castle Itter. The world is waking into a silence that feels unnatural, a silence that presses against the skin like a warning. The Second World War is only days from ending, but here, in this rugged corner of Austria, one last improbable battle is about to unfold. A battle unlike any other in the long violent history of the conflict. Inside the cold medieval fortress, a group of French political prisoners pace anxiously. These are not ordinary captives. They are former prime ministers, generals, resistance leaders, men who once directed armies and steered nations, reduced now to frightened residents of a crumbling stone prison. Among them walk Édouard Daladier, Paul Reynaud, Generals Gamelin and Weygand, and a handful of influential figures whose reputations echo across Europe. They have spent years in captivity, watching the world burn from behind iron gates and barred windows. But now, in these final days of the collapsing Reich, their fate has become more uncertain than ever. Outside the castle walls, footsteps crunch on the gravel path. American soldiers, exhausted from weeks of relentless advance, make their way toward defensive positions along the battlements. Their uniforms are wet with morning mist, their faces are etched with tension, and beside them, taking cover behind the same ancient stones, stand German Wehrmacht soldiers. The sight would have been unthinkable just weeks earlier, but in the final days of Hitler's empire, loyalties have fractured, and a strange reality has taken shape. Former enemies now stand shoulder to shoulder, preparing for a battle they cannot afford to lose. Down in the valley below, distant echoes of gunfire carry through the fog. A rogue SS battalion is advancing through the trees, fanatical loyalists who refuse to surrender. Their goal is chillingly simple: eliminate the French prisoners before they can be liberated and testify to the world. The defenders of Castle Itter, Americans and Germans together, have only a single Sherman tank, limited ammunition, and no guarantee of reinforcements. The castle is quiet now, but something is approaching, something deadly, and so the defenders brace themselves. A young American tanker wipes condensation from his rifle. A German officer murmurs a silent prayer, and as the first sharp cracks of sniper fire ring out through the cold morning air, a single question hangs over the ancient stones. How did sworn enemies find themselves defending the same castle, against the same enemy? To understand this moment, the Battle of Castle Itter, we must step back into the final, chaotic chapter of the Second World War. It is the spring of 1945, Nazi Germany is collapsing under the weight of years of military defeat. The Western Allies are advancing from France, the Soviets are closing in from the east. Hitler is dead. Regions have fallen into lawlessness, as fragments of the Wehrmacht fight desperate rearguard actions, while SS units, fueled by ideology and denial, refuse to lay down their weapons. The German state, once so rigidly organized, is fragmenting into isolated pockets of resistance, misinformation, and fear. Amid this chaos lies Castle Itter, a medieval fortress perched high above the small Austrian village of the same name. For much of the war, it has served as a special prison for high-value French captives, placed under the authority of the Dachau concentration camp system. Its prisoners are not held for forced labor. They are kept for leverage, bargaining power, propaganda, tools to be used by a regime increasingly defined by paranoia. As Nazi control weakens, the fate of these prisoners becomes more precarious. SS guards flee their posts, communications break down, and rumors spread that SS units may return to execute the prisoners to prevent them from being rescued. Then, in early May, an astonishing series of events is set into motion. The SS personnel guarding Castle Itter abandon their posts as the Reich disintegrates. Some prisoners are able to arm themselves lightly or barricade key areas, but they know they are vulnerable. Amid the confusion, a Czech cook named Andreas Krobot undertakes a daring escape, slipping past the perimeter under the cover of darkness. His mission is simple and desperate: find Allied forces before the SS return. Krobot's journey through the forested mountains is dangerous and physically exhausting, but at last he reaches the town of Vergel, recently overtaken not by American forces but by German Wehrmacht troops who have defected from Nazi leadership. These soldiers are led by Major Josef Gangl, a decorated officer whose patriotism has been shattered by the senseless destruction inflicted by the SS. Gangl himself has already taken steps to protect local Austrian civilians from massacres ordered by retreating Nazi loyalists. When the Czech cook arrives and explains the prisoner's dire situation, Gangl faces a fateful choice: ignore the plea or risk being branded a traitor and executed for cooperating with the enemy. Without hesitation, he chooses the latter. He sends a message to the nearest American forces, informing them of the urgent danger at Castle Itter. The message reaches Captain John Jack Lee of the U.S. 23rd Tank Battalion, a man known among his peers for boldness, stubbornness, and a willingness to take risks others would avoid. When he learns of the high-profile French prisoners trapped at Itter, he volunteers to lead a rescue mission. His orders are not explicit. The mission is dangerous. Reinforcements may be delayed or overwhelmed, but Lee understands the stakes. Accompanied by a handful of soldiers, Lee moves toward the castle aboard a Sherman tank nicknamed Besotten Jenny. Along the way, he encounters Major Gangl and his small contingent of Wehrmacht soldiers. The meeting between the two men is tense at first. Decades of conflict hang between their uniforms, but after a brief exchange, it becomes clear they share a common enemy in the SS and a common desire to save innocent lives before it is too late. And so, the unthinkable happens. American and German troops join forces, marching together toward Castle Itter in what will become the only battle of the Second World War in which both sides fight alongside one another. When they arrive at the castle, the prisoners are stunned. Some initially believe they are being deceived, that their rescuers may be disguised SS units. But once reassured, the prisoners relax, though only slightly. They know the SS will return, and now they must prepare for a defense that may stretch their courage and their ammunition to its limits. Captain Lee surveys the castle and positions his men strategically. The Sherman tank is placed at the main gate as a barrier and a weapon. Gangl and his soldiers take up firing positions along the walls. The French prisoners, many of whom are seasoned military men, offer strategic advice and sometimes argue loudly and stubbornly among themselves. Lee, frustrated by the constant bickering, focuses the defense with determined calm. As evening approaches, the defenders hear something unsettling: the distant rumble of vehicles and the unmistakable sound of marching boots. The SS are coming, and they are coming in force. The fog thickens as night falls. Shadows move in the tree line, and then, without warning, the first shot rings out. Sniper fire from the forest. The bullet strikes stone, sending shards flying. Another shot follows, then another. The battle has begun.
We've got heavy incoming on the left.
Suppress the fire! Move!
Get down! Hold the line at the gatehouse! We need suppressing fire now!
SS troops emerge from the mist, firing at the battlements. Machine guns chatter. Mortar rounds explode near the gate.
Hold the position! Wait for the signal! We're running low on ammo! We can't hold them!
The defenders return fire, but the castle's thick walls make communication difficult. Ammunition begins to run low. The Sherman tank absorbs repeated hits, its armor cracking.
Halt die Linie! Konzentriertes Feuer! Keep firing!
Meanwhile,
We need more
the French
ammo over
prisoners,
here.
some inexperienced with weapons, others
firing,
reliving
they're
old
advancing.
campaigns, take up rifles and fire beside their
ammunition over
rescuers.
here. Watch your spacing!
For hours, the battle rages in the dim light. The defenders, vastly outnumbered, cling to their positions. Major Gangl, risking his life repeatedly, moves across exposed areas of the courtyard to help direct fire and protect civilians hiding inside. As the night deepens, the situation grows increasingly desperate. The SS prepare for a
Check your
final,
gear.
overwhelming
When the
assault.
flare goes up, we move fast. No hesitation.
And with reinforcements nowhere in sight, The defenders face the horrifying possibility that they may not survive the night. The darkest moment comes just before dawn. The defenders of Castle Itter, exhausted and running dangerously low on ammunition, brace themselves for what they fear will be the final SS assault. The night air is filled with the acrid smell of burning timber and spent gunpowder. Shouts echo from the forest below, orders, threats, the frenzied voices of men who refuse to surrender even as the Reich collapses around them. Inside the castle, the French prisoners sit in tense silence. Hours of fighting have stripped away their earlier arguments and political rivalries. Now, the only thing that matters is survival. Former prime ministers huddle beside young American soldiers, both groups equalized by fear and a common enemy. Each passing minute feels painfully slow. Several prisoners ask if they should try to escape into the mountains, but Captain Lee dismisses the idea immediately. The SS would hunt them down easily. Their best chance is to stay together and hold the castle until help arrives, if help arrives at all. Outside, the Sherman tank Besaten Jenny continues to take heavy fire. Its armor has been chipped, dented, and scorched. At last, a well-placed anti-tank round tears into its chassis, disabling it completely. The vehicle groans under the impact and falls silent, smoke seeping from its broken seams. Captain Lee knows this is a devastating blow. The tank was their strongest defensive asset, a steel guardian at the gate. Now, it is little more than a smoking barricade. Major Josef Gangl, ever the steady presence, understands the danger better than anyone. He recognizes that the SS forces are testing the defenders' positions, looking for weaknesses. If the enemy breaches the gate, the men inside will have no escape. The French prisoners will be executed. And the battle, this strange alliance of Americans and Germans, will end in tragedy. As the first pale hints of light touch the horizon, the SS troops begin their final push. Dozens of rifles open fire in unison. Several machine guns set up along the tree line unleash a furious storm of bullets onto the castle walls. Splinters and shards of stone rain down on the defenders. Moving from position to position, a mortar explodes just inside the courtyard, sending dust and debris into the air. Captain Lee shouts orders. Despite the danger, his men, though tired, hold fast. They return fire with precision, their movements fueled not by energy but by determination. Somewhere amid the chaos, one of the French prisoners, General Maurice Gamelin, fires a rifle for the first time in decades, his hands steady despite his age. Paul Reynaud, the former prime minister, assists in passing ammunition. Even Daladier, known for his cautious temperament, refuses to retreat. Then, in a moment of sudden silence, the defenders hear something unmistakable, the low, distant hum of engines. At first, no one dares to hope. The sound seems too faint, too far away, but the noise grows louder. Multiple vehicles approaching from the valley road.
Get to the wall now!
The defenders rush to the battlements,
Halt, was ist das?
scanning the mist-covered landscape. And then, emerging from the fog like a vision, come armored vehicles painted in olive drab, reinforcements. American troops from the 142nd Infantry Regiment push forward at speed, alerted to the situation by desperate radio messages sent hours earlier. Their arrival transforms the battlefield instantly. The SS fighters, caught between the castle's defenders and the approaching reinforcements, begin to falter.
Los, schneller! Deckung, in den Wald!
Some attempt to regroup. Others flee into the forest. The incoming American soldiers advance methodically, firing with controlled bursts.
All right, let's secure this area.
Within
Watch your
minutes,
spacing,
the
move!
enemy line collapses. But the victory comes with a heartbreaking cost. During the final exchange of fire, Major Josef Gangl spots a French prisoner exposed in a window, former Prime Minister Paul Reynaud. Without hesitation, Gangl sprints across the courtyard toward the danger zone, hoping to pull Reynaud to safety. As he reaches the building, a sniper's bullet strikes him in the chest. Gangl collapses instantly. He dies moments later. The defenders do not realize what has happened until the battle is almost over. When they find his body, the French prisoners, men who had once been held captive by his army, stand over him in solemn grief. Captain Lee, normally stoic and confident, removes his helmet and bows his head in respect. With the last of the SS forces scattered or captured, silence returns to Castle Itter. A silence unlike the one before the battle, this one heavy with relief, exhaustion, and sorrow.